Today we're working on my 2002 Road King. The fuel pump is not holding pressure. I believe it's the regulator housing failed. So what we're going to do today, I bought the parts, a check valve and a regulator housing. We're going to pull this apart, which is pretty easy. We're going to remove the seat and then the console. Let me go. All right, the first thing you want to do is remove the seat. Put this on a towel. You want to take some towels and cover the tank. I use tape, as you'll see in the video, to put towels on this. Now, all you have to do is remove this Allen head and this nut, wrap this in a towel, disconnect the speedo and the ignition, and then put this back to the side. You'll see I have this all wrapped up. Now, what you want to do is get yourself a little rag, and I want to relieve the pressure. A lot of people say the fuse, this, that, but you know your pressure's right here. A little rag, push up, and there you go. You see the fuel now? We just relieved most of the pressure. So that means when you take this pump out of the tank and disconnect the hose, you're not going to have fuel all over the place. Now we have that disconnected, the check valve. Now, like I spoke, you're going to remove this Allen head, this nut, wrap this in a towel, unplug the vent, disconnect the power, and this, you'll see it's one plug, it's easy. Wrap it up in a towel, fold it over, and lean it over on towels here. And then with a hex bit, there'll be, I believe, 10 screws with vinyl seats. Remove them carefully, and then you'll have your fuel pump out. All right, we're gonna remove the fuel pump from the tank. This would be the hardest part. All right, this is a torx 20 bit. Take your time, loosen them up evenly, cross pattern. You will see there's little seals on these screws. Make sure you get them all. The little seals, don't lose them. Try to remove them with each screw. You see how it's spring loaded? Some of them will come out, some of them will stay in. I advise removing all these seals so none fall into the tank or anything like that. I said leave a thread, wiggle it. I disconnected the check valve to get rid of any pressure. Some people say the fuse. I find this just as easy. Now this will be your hardest part. We removed all the screws. Now just walk it up. I know this is going to be hard. There's a little leverage point in there. All right. Make sure you get a little towel on the edge. You're gonna need a flashlight. This is the hardest part. You'll look in there and there's a spring. You'll see the spring. I'm gonna try to put this on the edge and on the edge of the hose so you don't have no problems with the hose on this metal as you rotate this. All right, you can see there's a spring right there. What you want to do is feel around, and you're going to see on the side of that spring, and it's hard to see. I got the flashlight in my mouth. All right, we got it. It's that easy. Now you see the spring right there. You push on this. Now it's straight. You could take this whole thing out. I'm going to choose to work on this right on the gas tank. That's why I got all these rags here, and it's no problem. I just wanted to take a second shot at showing you how to get the fuel pump out of the tank. That's the hardest part. You got to push back. You see where that spring is? If you can push back on that metal right there, it will go. And when you reinstall it, it just goes right back in and it will click into place, and then refasten your screws. Any questions, just ask. This is the most difficult part. I was coming home from the store, and all of a sudden she got really funny. It felt to me like it was too fast to be one of these lines or something of that nature. It's a notorious problem for this part right here, and this is a regulator housing. I'm gonna blow it up. I was trying to get a better angle, not so easy. But if you look at this, you could see the O-ring is out. Right there is the regulator housing. So I gotta disconnect, replace this housing, and we'll be as good as new. Drag specialty was like $17. But I'm happy to see that crack. What I need to do is to remove this and replace this. You can see on this side, it snapped. So it's not that difficult. Like I said, you gotta push down on this spring is activated. I'm gonna keep this right here and try to do this job right on the top of the tank. But I did release the check valve so to relieve the pressure. I don't think there's gonna be a problem here. I'm gonna undo this, remove this, replace this. So I wanna remove the check valve hose. There we go. Watch yourself, you don't wanna hurt your hands. You could buy these clamps in your auto parts store. Be careful, you don't want none of that metal in your tank. All right, I got a pair of pliers. This is really just to handle hoses and stuff of that nature. I'm gonna use it because I don't want to destroy this check valve. Just try to get a little movement. All right, we got it turning. I'm gonna take a dot of oil. Just give it a little lubrication. I don't want to make a mess. Let that sit for a second. I'm gonna try to pull it off without destroying. I have another check valve. Oh, this is not bad. That's not bad at all. What we want to do is remove this bracket so this will swing out. Not bad. All right. I'll keep that just like that. I see there's a little not bad. It pushed right out. That's why I have all blankets on this. Now this should come right out. That's exactly where it failed. Right there. Now I'm going to remove the regulator. You can see how the O-ring failed. Remove it. It's all O-rings. That's all this stuff is. I missed this bike. I had Daytona. I had a lot of things going on. Let's see if all else works. Okay, let's put that out. All right, here's this O-ring. I'm gonna put a little dot of grease on it. Now, as you see, that's what failed. They sell these made out of aluminum. They're nice. All right, that's what failed. And we'll replace it with this. So we'll fix this for like 17 bucks. I figured I'd do a video, let you all see this, because this will throw people off, and this is a popular problem. Now you can clearly see, I hope, how this broke. And that's what held the regulator, pressure regulator, in place. So what I'm going to do now is swap those parts out. I just removed it. This is your regulator. And they don't fail. Don't go crazy. This is what failed. If Harley was to go into this tank, I wouldn't imagine what they'd charge. I really couldn't imagine what they'd charge. Now what I'm going to do now is just put this in here. These two ears will put pressure and hold the regulator in place. When this one failed, it popped out on an angle, the O-ring failed, I lost pressure. But I gotta say, the bike got me home, and that was it. I was about 3 miles out, and she got me home. I'm glad. I really am happy that I'll be on my bike again. Take your time with this. It's worth it. All right, as you've seen before, that goes like that. Not hard. All right, that slides right like that. Just take your time with it. You'll see. You'll want this hose, as I took it out, was on this side. Okay. And these metal clips hold everything in place. That's those ears that failed. Now you have this clip that went in here, you see. Patience. It'll clip right in. And we got it. Like I said, this goes over there. That's in there. You inspect it carefully. Everything looks right. I bought these little clamps, AutoZone. Just let them know what size. They'll help you out. So now we have this, the check valve on. We got our clamp on. I got a pair of pliers, and this is just for those clamps. I filed these so they're not sharp. I have the tool, but this works better. The other tool's kind of awkward. You can always use a screw clamp if that's what you want to do. All right, what we're going to do is put it back in the tank, nice and careful. All right, put this in there. It will spring back. Got to jiggle it a little bit. Oh yeah. And you'll notice the spring will collapse as you're putting it in there. I'm going to fasten this down and we'll see what we got. Remember, little vinyl seals on these. Don't let them fall, drop, or get lost. You're going to feel this is spring loaded because the strainer on the bottom is sitting on the bottom by spring. That's one started. I'm going to try to do it evenly. Corner to corner. Go back up to this corner. Just get them started. Sometimes those little vinyl gaskets, sealers, will stay in the padding. Make sure you remove them all. As you're working with this, you don't want it to fall into the tank. I did not even empty gas from this tank. I did pull the check valve to release the pressure. Harley recommends you buy all new screws, but what do you expect from Harley? Cross padding. The only special tool you need is a torque bit. I will put it in the description what size it is. There's 10 of these. So now just cross padding, like I said, and just seat them up. Make sure no towel is under there. Try to be conscious about when you removed it. They weren't that tight. I mean, they're snugged up. By doing this yourself, you probably saved $800. Because who knows? It gets in some of these dealers' hands and they're replacing everything. They might buy a whole new pump. I don't know. I've heard horror stories. Let's just put it that way. Ready? Almost done. Alright. Now I'm just going to go around, check every one. Little wrist turn, that's all. You have this rubber gasket there, and that does the job. Nice. What I'd like to do is a test fire. So I have to hook up the console. I wrapped it up in a nice towel. All right, check valve is plugged in. Console is plugged in. I let this cycle through. That's the fuel pump. She's holding pressure. Everything seems good. All right, let's go. As of right now, it cost me $17 for the Regulator Housing. And I hope this saves some people some money out there. I'm going to put this back together and take it for a test ride. Any questions, please just ask. I will put the information in the description of the tools and parts. And if you could, please subscribe, thumbs up, and leave a comment. Ride safe and have a great day.